Good morning, my dear students.
I hope all of you are fine. And today, let me continue with the topic moment of inertia. So, in the regular class, we have discussed about parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. And then I have worked out one derivation, that is moment of inertia of a circular disk, in which we have four cases. Case 1, axis passing through the center of the disk and perpendicular to its plane. Case 2, axis passing along diameter. Third one, axis tangent to the disk in its own plane. And fourth one, axis tangent to the disk and perpendicular to the plane of the disk. So in all the four cases, we have deduced the expression for moment of inertia of a circular disk. And now the second case, second derivation, very important one. Let us derive the expression for moment of inertia in the case of annular ring. So look at the heading. Second derivation, moment of inertia of an annular ring. Even in this case, we come across different cases. The first case, A, about an axis. We are finding moment of inertia about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. So look at the diagram. You have a circular disk in which capital R is the external radius, and suppose small r is the internal radius. If the middle part, central part is removed, then it becomes an annular ring. Annular ring of external radius capital R and internal radius small r. Can you see in this figure? O is the center of the annular ring. Capital R is external radius. Small r is the internal radius of this annular ring. This is the inner surface of the ring, and this is the external boundary of the annular ring. So capital R is external radius, small r is internal radius, and we have to find the moment of inertia about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. Let z x dash be the axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane of the annular ring. Now consider some arbitrary annular ring of thickness dx at a distance x from the center of the annular ring. So this much you can understand from the diagram which is drawn. And here is the explanation. An annular ring or a disk consists of an arbitrary circular disk from which a smaller coaxial disk is removed, that is the central one with radius r. That part is removed so that there is a concentric circular hole in it. Let capital R and small r be the outer and the inner radii of the disk, and m, capital M, be its mass, that is mass of the annular ring. Let small m be the mass per unit area of the ring. Capital M is mass of the ring. Small m is mass per unit area of the ring. Now let us calculate what is the area of the annular ring. Area of the face of the annular ring is equal to pi into r square minus small r square. So this is the area of one face of the annular ring. So pi r square gives you the area of the complete outer surface of the ring, minus pi into small r square is the inner circle that must be removed. So therefore, area of the face of the annular ring is pi into r square minus small r square. Mass per unit area of the annular ring is total mass m divided by pi into r square minus small r square. Imagine the disk to be made up of a number of thin circular rings. Look at the figure. This is one circular ring. You can imagine the ring disk is made up of a number of such annular rings. Imagine the disk to be made up of a number of thin circular rings. Consider one such ring of radius x, and of width dx. That part you have to understand from the diagram. Face area of the ring, that is shaded 1, face area of the ring, that is shaded part, it is 2 pi x into dx. Therefore, mass of the shaded ring, shaded portion, which is shown in the figure, is mass per unit area m divided by pi r square minus r square into area of that elemental ring, 2 pi x into dx. So simplifying, it is 2mx dx divided by r square minus small r square. Therefore, moment of inertia of this ring about an axis passing through point O and perpendicular to its plane is, that is, moment of inertia about z dash axis. It is equal to this mass. We should consider mass of the shaded ring 2mx dx divided by r square minus r square into x square, that is square of the radius of the shaded ring, which is equal to, simplifying, we get 2mx cube dx divided by r square minus small r square. Therefore, moment of inertia of the whole annular disk is obtained by integrating the above expression for the limits x is equal to small r and x is equal to capital R. So therefore, moment of inertia of the annular disk about an axis passing through point O, that is center and perpendicular to the plane, it is given by 2m divided by r square minus small r square integral of x cube dx between the limits x is equal to small r and x is equal to capital R. In the next step, 2m divided by r square minus small r square, take it outside the integration. Integral x cube is x to the power 4 divided by 4, and then limits are lower limit x is equal to small r, upper limit is x is equal to capital R. Next step, it becomes m divided by 2 into r square minus small r square. This 2 and 4, if you cancel 2 ones are 2 twos are, this you will get 2 in the denominator. And for x, if you substitute capital R first and then small r, you will get r to the power 4 minus small r to the power 4. This is after substituting the limits. Then use the formula a square minus b square. It is a square minus b square is a minus b into a plus b. So using that expansion, we can write r to the power 4 minus small r to the power 4 as capital R square minus small r square into capital R square plus small r square. And rest of the thing is same, m divided by 2 into r square minus small r square. So finally simplifying, we get moment of inertia I is equal to m into r square plus r square divided by 2. This r square minus small r square in the denominator and r square minus small r square in the numerator gets cancelled each other. Therefore, moment of inertia I is equal to m into r square minus small r square divided by 2. Equation 1 gives you moment of inertia of an annular ring about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. And then radius of gyration, k. You just equate this term to m into k square. So k square will be r square plus small r square by 2. Therefore, k, radius of gyration, is square root of r square plus small r square by 2. So equation 2 gives you radius of gyration. In the previous classes, in the regular class, I have told you what is radius of gyration. It is a perpendicular distance of the center of mass of the rigid body from the axis of rotation. So K is measured in meter and moment of inertia is measured in kg square meter. It follows that if small r is 0 means it follows that if r is equal to 0, that is, if there is no hole in the disk or that it is just a plain circular disk, its moment of inertia is mr square by 2. It is obtained by putting small r is equal to 0 in equation 1. We get mr square by 2. And if r is equal to capital R, we have a circular loop or circular ring of radius r. Then its moment of inertia will be m into capital R square plus capital R square by 2, which is equal to mr square. Next, second case, moment of inertia of the annular ring about its diameter. Since the annular ring is symmetrical, the moment of inertia of the annular ring, annular disk or annular ring about any diameter is the same. So that means if you find moment of inertia about y-axis or about x-axis which passes through the center and in the plane of the annular ring, then they are equal. That is, Ix is equal to Iy. From perpendicular axis theorem, we can write Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. So here Z axis is passing through the center O of the annular ring and it is perpendicular to the xy plane as well as perpendicular to this annular ring. So this Iz we can write Ix plus Iy, where Iz is the moment of inertia of the ring about an axis passing through its center O and perpendicular to its plane. It is equal to mr square plus small r square by 2. That is from the previous case, case 1. Therefore, Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. This is from perpendicular axis theorem. But Ix is equal to Iy is equal to I along the diameter of the annular ring. Let us denote it as ID. Therefore, Iz is equal to ID plus ID, which is equal to 2ID. Therefore, ID is equal to Iz by 2. Substitute for Iz from the above equation. We get half into m capital R square plus small r square by 2. It becomes ID is equal to m into r square plus small r square by 4. Equation 3 gives you moment of inertia of the annular ring about a diameter, and radius of gyration k is equal to square root of r square plus small r square by 2. So equation 4 gives radius of gyration, and equation 3 gives moment of inertia of the annular ring about a diameter passing through its plane. And then third case, about a tangent in its plane. Look at this figure. You have an annular ring. Capital R is a radius, outer radius. Small r is inner radius. And this is a diameter passing through the center O. And this is a tangent which is perpendicular, which is parallel to the diameter. So therefore, from parallel axis theorem, we can write moment of inertia about the tangent is equal to moment of inertia along diameter plus m into r square. Substitute for m dia from previous case, that is m into r square plus small r square by 4 plus mr square. Now take LCM. 4 is the LCM. So I along the tangent is equal to mr square, m into r square plus small r square plus 4mr square by 4. So simplifying, we get this equation 5. M into 5r square plus small r square by 4 is a moment of inertia of the angular ring about the tangent parallel to the diameter. And radius of gyration k is given by square root of 5r square plus small r square divided by 4. Equation 6 gives you radius of gyration. If r is equal to 0, then the annular ring becomes a circular disc. Then the expression for I tangent will become 5 by 4 mr square, and radius of gyration equals square root of 5r square by 4, which we can write it as r by 2 into root 5. So this already we have discussed under circular disc. Next, fourth case. About a tangent perpendicular to its plane. Now look at this figure. This is an annular ring. O is the center. Small r is inner radius. Capital R is external radius. And z-axis passes through the center and perpendicular to the plane of the annular ring. And the moment of inertia I about z-axis, we know that it is m into capital R square plus small r square by 2. Now consider a tangent which is just touching the annular ring and it is parallel to z-axis. So from parallel axis theorem, we can write I along the tangent shown in the figure, it is equal to I about z-axis plus mr square. And this will be, if we substitute for Iz, it is m into capital R square plus small r square by 2 plus mr square. Simplifying, we get I along the tangent equals m into 3 into capital R square plus small r square divided by 2. So equation 7 gives you moment of inertia of an annular ring about a tangent which is perpendicular to the plane of the ring. And the radius of gyration k is given by square root of 3r square plus small r square by 2. That is equation 8. If r is equal to 0, the annular ring becomes a circular disc, and I along the tangent becomes 3 by 2 mr square, and k is equal to 3 by 2 into r. So this completes the second derivation. Let me conclude the session, and I will continue the next derivation in the next class. Okay, thank you.